All right. So I mean, I've been watching this interview that Hillary Clinton gave with Jane Pauley. And the thing that keeps coming to mind, you know, there was this movie. I don't know if anybody remembers the movie As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. Did anybody see that?
I didn't see it,
No?
but I know of it.
See, here's the thing. Because the left has created a world in which it's supposedly virtuous to lie, to not say that women are like this and men are like that, to not say, oh, there's a lot of crime in the black community, to not say, oh, you know, a lot of the guys who commit terrorist acts just happen for some reason to be named Mohammed. So virtue is lying. That is why you see on so many shows the men are now gangsters. So you get The Sopranos, you get Breaking Bad, you get the men are bad people. The reason is in a world where it's virtuous to lie, bad people are the ones who tell the truth, right? And that's what everybody likes about Donald Trump. He breaks the rules. He tells the truth. So As Good as It Gets had Jack Nicholson as a writer who, I can't remember, he had a bunch of psychological problems, but he just was compulsively speak the truth. And of course, by the end of the movie, they had to cure him of this because that made him a bad guy, right? So they cure him of speaking the truth. But the fact is, all anybody ever cared about was the first half an hour of the movie when he says all these hilarious things. And there's one very famous scene when Nicholson is the famous writer, is walking out of his publisher's office, and the secretary stops him and wants to know, how do you write such good women characters? Here it is.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
That line was, I mean, that line just made a smash. He thinks of a man and he takes away reason and accountability. That's Hillary Clinton. I mean, Hillary Clinton, we've been told we're so misogynist for not electing the first woman president, but she exemplifies the worst cliches about women. I mean, look, everybody has flaws, but there are two different kinds of people. There are men and there are women. Those are the two kinds of people there are, and men have men flaws and women have women flaws, and she is out there without reason or accountability. She won't even take, I mean, obviously one of her biggest mistakes, just like Mitt Romney had that 47% mistake, like 47% of people don't want to work, and so they take free stuff from the Democrats, and everybody went like, hey, you know, I'm on welfare, I don't like it, you know. She had that quote where she called Trump's voters deplorables. Well, why should any of them now switch to her if they're deplorable, right? She won't even take that back. If she said, this is cut 3, listen to this.
Well, I thought Trump was behaving in a deplorable manner. I thought a lot of his appeals to voters were deplorable. I thought his behavior, as we saw on the Access Hollywood tape, was deplorable. And there were a large number of people who didn't care. It did not matter to them.
So he says, well, I only called them deplorable because they're deplorable. You know, all of you people are deplorable. I mean, this is what's happening to the Democrat Party. I mean, this is amazing. Their hatred of the American people, their hatred of a large swath of the American people is coming out. And say what you will about Trump, he doesn't say this stuff. He doesn't say this. He says it about the powerful people who attack him, but he doesn't say it about the people who didn't vote for him. You know, he's trying to win them over. The Democrats are just telling you, you are deplorable. She will not take it back without reason or accountability. Then, I mean, the classic thing, this is going to be the most sexist show ever. They may come in somewhere around here, the two women just may come and carry me out the door. But the classic thing about women is they're too emotional to make good decisions as president. So listen to Hillary's description to Jane Pauley. It's like two girls sitting around talking to Jane Pauley. She's talking about how she felt after the election was over. This is cut 2.
I just felt this enormous letdown, this kind of loss of feeling and direction and sadness. And, you know, Bill just kept saying, oh, you know, that was a terrific speech, trying to just kind of bolster me a little bit. Off I went into a frenzy of closet cleaning and long walks in the woods and playing with my dogs and yoga, alternate nostril breathing, which I highly recommend, trying to calm myself down, and, you know, my share of Chardonnay. It was a very hard transition. I really struggled. I couldn't feel, I couldn't think. I was just gobsmacked, wiped out.
you got to get one of these leftist tears tumblers. The tears, they taste so good. I mean, who cares? Who cares? She's drinking, she got boozing it up and doing yoga, and she's cleaning her closets. I mean, are you kidding me? This is a person who wanted to be president of the United States. Now, don't get me wrong. When Democrat men lose, they go insane. When Al Gore lost, he went and said, remember, he got that big beard and suddenly he's screaming about the world is going to end. You know, it's all in global warming is going to kill us all. And he would make speeches in the snow about global warming, and they're still trying to sell this stuff to us that, like, you know, you're some kind of Holocaust denier if you don't believe. So Democrat men go crazy. But I mean, I don't know. This is a woman who wanted her finger on the button of the nuclear button, and she's sitting there telling us about how she lost an election, and she's drinking herself, you know, she's getting boozing it up with the Chardonnay and doing the yoga. I mean, is that the person you want running the army? Ah, man, oh man. To me, what is so funny about this, and I've said this before, that feminists, like, the only women I know who fulfill the cliches that men say about women are feminists. They're the ones who, like, fall into those cliches. And it is funny, you know, I've talked about this before, but I may be one of the oldest people who do a podcast, and there is a real difference between the way young men talk about women and the way old men talk about women. It is really different, and I will tell you how. Especially, this is really interesting if you're women, because they don't do it in front of women. But all men look at the differences between men and women and kind of roll their eyes. I'm sure women look at men and roll their eyes. I mean, that's the way the whole system is set up. We don't quite get each other, but we like each other, but it's nice, you know. But older guys, like, say, they talk about the difference of men and women with great affection. I mean, they roll their eyes and they go, women, you know, they're like this, but they really like them. Younger guys are ticked off. They're angry. And the reason they're angry is because they were told there was no difference. They were told that they were bad to say there was a difference. They were told only naughty boys believe there's a difference between men and women. So the thing is, like, young guys are furious when they find out that women don't want the same things, they don't think the same things, they don't like the same thing. And younger guys get angry because they weren't told that. They were lied to. So I'm watching Hilary and I'm in stitches because I just think, like, yeah, this is kind of the way women, you know, behave. Listen to her talk about, this has been played before, but I don't think we played it here. She's talking about that Donald Trump got too close to her on the stage and he was so creepy. And listen to the dithering here, okay? Again, a woman who wants to be in control of our armed forces can't even decide what to do with some guy standing in back of her on the stage.
It was so discombobulating. And so while I'm answering questions, my mind is going, okay, do I keep my composure? Do I act like a president? Am I the person that people can trust in the end to make hard decisions? Or do I wheel around and say, get out of my space, back up, you creep? Well, you know, I didn't do the latter, but I thought, you know, people say, well, I don't know her. Whoa. And I think my composure, which I have developed over years being in the public eye, has well equipped me for being a leader, because you should keep your cool and you should be steady and predictable. But I think in this time we're in, and particularly in this campaign, you know, maybe I missed a few chances.
Maybe so. Like not going to Wisconsin might have been a big one. Not campaigning in all the places that Donald Trump pulled out from under your feet. Those might have been a few chances you missed. But she's worried. She's still worried that she didn't tell the guy on the subway, who happened to be Donald Trump, you know, to back off, creep. This interview is it's hilarious. It is hilarious. And I have to say, after watching Hillary Clinton, I was joking about this in the opening, but after watching her basically sell her soul, I mean, who stays in a marriage where a guy humiliates you on international TV by cheating on you again and again and again? Even when he's president of the United States, he goes on cheating on you with a woman young enough to be his daughter. Who stays in that marriage? I mean, when that marriage was a sham, but she obviously stayed in it for power. It was a power relationship. She wanted the power. She thought she could parlay that. She did parlay being cheated on into the New York Senate seat. So she sold that out. She did all these deals with people. She was constantly selling government favors behind the scenes. And then it all builds up to this one shot she's got at the big show, and she loses it in the most humiliating way possible. You got to get the leftist tears tumbler, because this has been one of the great moments in political history.